Hey Stephanie, it's good to see you again. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Really good. It's great to talk to you again. I can't wait to hear about why routine is important to pets and especially to our dogs. It is
Yes.
very important, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's essential for fostering a happy, confident dog because it provides structure, it takes away uncertainty, and it promotes well-being in general.
Great. So tell us more.
It provides a sense of security. When a dog knows what's going to be happening and what to expect, then it reduces stress. Kind of like us, right? When we are not sure what's going to happen next, we can get a little bit stressed or anxious. And so knowing when their meals are coming, when it's playtime, when it's time for resting, when they're going to be going for walks, it creates just this routine of the day that helps them feel much more comfortable.
It's probably easier on their pet parents too, right? Because if they have a routine,
It can be, yes, unless our routine changes for some reason, and then it can be very challenging because they can get very set in their routines.
yeah.
So if you're going to do routines, like for example, I have like it's a routine, but it's not at specific times. Does that make sense? So when I get up, there's a certain routine that I go through, and then I take my dog out as a part of that routine. And so rather than it being happening at 6 o'clock every morning, it may happen between, 5:30 and 8, but it depends on where the routine of him going out falls into that morning time wise.
And he does okay with that if there's some time differential. So if
Apart from, believe it or not, his late afternoon meal, then he can get a little bit grumpy about that one, regardless. If I am here, then he is, laser eyes boring a hole into my soul. And if I don't pay attention to that, then he starts, being a little bit more obvious about his desire to have his dinner.
Yet if you had been out for some reason and maybe
Hmm.
speeding by about 30 minutes and did it soon after you came back, he'd be
Yes. He'd be fine, right?
okay.
As long as I didn't sit down and start working on my computer and ignore him, he'd be fine. That's acceptable. But
Okay,
if I'm home and the time rolls around, there's maybe 15, 20 minutes wiggle room, and that does also depend on whether or not it was an earlier or later breakfast.
sure, that makes sense. So tell us more.
So it also builds confidence. So they just feel more self-assured because they know that certain things are coming, certain tasks are being asked of them. For example, regular training sessions at the same time of day can be helpful. That when they are finishing up those cues, then and activities, they know that they're doing well. So when they successfully complete them, it ups their confidence. And then, of course, it encourages healthy habits, routines for meals, exercise, mental stimulation. All of those are good. And if you have that as part of their routine, then it's really helping their health.
Right. So that's three really strong reasons. Do you have
Hmm.
any?
Yes, two more actually. It promotes positive relationships. So it helps to build trust between your dog. If they know that their next meal is coming at a certain period of time, then they're not going to be worried that you're not going to feed them. And so that builds that trust bond, and it creates a stronger bond with them. They can anticipate interaction with you throughout the day. My boy knows that, somewhere around noon, we're going to get up and we're going to, take a little bit of a break together. Maybe some snuggle time that usually happens in the evening, but it really just kind of sets the tone with where our engagement is going to be and how the day's just going to flow. And then
Very
finally, behavior issues, my favorite subject, helps the dogs understand their boundaries and what the expectations are. Those routines give a clear structure for the dog. It really helps with these are the rules of living here. You can prevent unwanted behaviors. This is the rule of how we greet people. So it just reduces those behavior issues by creating a routine that the dog understands. When someone comes in the door, then I wait to be told that I can greet, and then I pour on the floor and I get some pets, and then I go lay down. Okay, so it doesn't just keep things predictable, it shapes your dog's world in a way that supports both emotional, mental, and physical well-being.
And I guess if you see them as being more relaxed and more happy and less demanding, it's a good sign that if you are sticking to a routine as best you can, you're
Mhm.
doing a good job.
Yes, it is good to put some flexibility in there as much as you possibly can, because if something is supposed to happen in the dog's perception and it doesn't, that can also cause stress. So building in breaking the routine and doing things a little bit differently, whether that's you have a weekend routine versus a weekday routine, or like what I do, where there's um, like pockets of time where certain things happen, but it's not at exactly this time, right? We don't exactly train for an hour every day, but don't train that long every day, by the way. Um, but it's not come home from work and spend an hour with the dog. It's, there might be other things that are going on in that period, and the cuddle time with your dog is, somewhere between 7 and 10.
Wow, that's a pretty expansive period of time. As a pet parent, I'm very glad to hear that because my schedules do change from day to day, yet I want to be doing everything that's best for my animals. So
Hmm.
knowing that I can go like that is good. Thank you. You made me
Yes,
feel
yes.
better today.
It's more about routine than it is about time. Okay, like the time on the clock. It seems to us like it's about time on the clock, but it's really about routine, and the order of things and how it happens throughout the day.
So a morning walk is a morning walk.
Right, whether you got up at 5 o'clock and you did it then, or you got up at 8 o'clock, right?
And I guess the dogs are looking at those cues and they kind of know when you get out of bed that you're probably getting closer to that morning walk.
Yes.
If you decided to sleep in until 8:30,
Right.
right.
Yes.
Dogs are smart.
Yes. Yes. And, for things like walks or potty breaks, those kinds of things, there's going to be a less flexible kind of schedule to that, because, we want to make sure that they're getting relief from their bladder and bowels regularly. So that time period might not be as long as, say, the cuddle time at night, right? It might be, well, cuddle time could be as early as 7, as late as 10, depending on when I'm getting ready for bed. But potty time happens at such and such a time,
Yeah,
and maybe that's a half an hour to an hour time period as opposed to the 3 hour.
sure.
Yeah.
As a reminder to everyone, if you have any questions about your dog's behavior, or if you're experiencing anything like anxiety problems with your dog, or you just want to know what you could do to make your dog and you as happy as possible, Stephanie is available for a complimentary care call. You call them care calls, right, Stephanie?
Care calls, discovery calls, it's 20 or 30 minutes
Discovery calls.
free to them, and we just talk about their situation.
Yeah, so I'm going to link to all of that below. Feel free to take advantage of it. And we will talk to you again soon, Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
Take care.